is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hey, it's time once again for the only show on the internet that gives you up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite-to-see celebrities. I refer, of course, to the Celebrity Afterlife Report, for which I am your host, the Celebrity Medium. Let's see what's going on in the next world. If you are interested in modern art, you are probably familiar with the name of Jean-Michel Basquiat, the talented artist who transitioned to the afterlife in 1988 at the age of 27, was quite famous toward the end of his time on the earthly plane for his graffiti-inspired paintings. Today, his work sells in exclusive art galleries for millions of dollars. In the afterlife, Jean-Michel has been quiet, staying out of the spotlight. Until now, that is. Regular listeners to the report know the story of actress-singer Judy Garland and her aborted attempt to create a females-only city in the next world. The effort ended when Garland became romantically involved with Fred Trump, father of the Donald. When Judy called her city-building plan off, she offered the blueprints for the town to anyone who wanted them, but no one claimed them at first. Now Basquiat has put himself forward as the one to revive the plan. This surprised many afterlife observers since, as I said, the city was supposed to be for women only and Basquiat's a man. Turns out that while he would like to get the blueprints in his hands, he wants to construct the town as an artist's colony on a small island just off the coast. Friends of the painter say that after having been out of the art scene for so long, Jean-Michel has gotten the itch to create once again and wants to live among others of the same creative mindset. Word is that if Garland approves of his plan, which is by no means a certainty, Basquiat's version of what the actress was calling New Garland will be for anyone, male or female, who wants to live in a creative atmosphere. On last week's report, I told you about the secret beach wedding between the former J. Edgar Hoover, now living full-time as a woman, and her former chief assistant at the FBI, Clyde Tolson. As per information I have been given by some of my Next World sources, I now have a few updates to that story. First, Edith Hoover, as the former director of the FBI has been calling herself, has now taken her husband's last name. She will henceforth be known as Edith Tolson. Secondly, Ms. Tolson, who, as you would imagine, was the subject of much reporting over the past week, called a press conference. Sitting at a table in front of a room full of print and TV reporters, she said that she felt she needed to explain her situation. According to my sources, she went on to apologize for what she called her shameful behavior toward gay people when she was the most feared man in Washington, D.C. She said she had long known that she was, quote, different, unquote, but that she had never had the courage to come out about her transgenderism, as society's attitude toward that was very negative during her time at the Bureau. She said she overcompensated by using her power to oppress people she suspected of being non-heterosexual. I'm told that at that point in her prepared remarks, she began to cry, and her new husband comforted her. She continued to say that she knew it was too late to correct the damage she had done to others, but she hoped that those who are now in the afterlife would find it in their hearts to forgive her. She finished by saying it was her new husband, Clyde Tolson, who had given her the strength to admit what she was and to live as her true self. After taking a few questions from the reporters, she left the room hand in hand with Tolson. Perhaps, like me, you have wondered what Adolf Hitler, the Nazi leader defeated by the Allies in World War II, is doing in the next world. Well, thanks to information I got from some of my Afterlife sources, we need wonder no more. It seems that the man who dreamed of a 1,000-year Reich is now the equivalent of an earthly plane homeless person. Sometime back, the Next World newspaper, run by former CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite, decided to do a piece on De Fuhrer's current existence. After an extensive investigation and search, it was discovered that the former German leader has been living in a wooded area on the outskirts of a major afterlife city. At first, he refused to acknowledge that he was in fact Adolf Hitler, but over time, the reporter gained his trust and got the former dictator to admit who he was. According to the article, which recently ran in the paper, he told the reporter that he is deeply ashamed of what he did while on Earth and doesn't feel that he has the right to live in normal next world society. While the Nazi refused to allow any photographs of himself, he was described as being dressed in rags, disheveled, and unshaven, a far cry from the way he looked when he was terrorizing Europe. Hitler said that he plans on continuing to exist outside of society, not associating with others, as he doesn't feel worthy of human companionship. He asked the reporter not to disclose his exact location, as he doesn't want people to feel sorry for him and try to find him to reintegrate him into civilization, a request the reporter granted. In the story the paper ran. Just before I recorded this episode of the report, I got word that Sam Simon, co-creator of the Simpsons TV show, had transitioned to the afterlife. Simon had announced some time back that he had terminal cancer and that he was going to donate his entire fortune, estimated at several $100 million, to various charities, a large portion earmarked for groups concerned with animal well-being. Now, while there were a few friends on hand to welcome him to his new existence, as he wasn't a well-known celebrity, there wasn't a large crowd there. Soul Brother number 1, James Brown, introduced himself to Simon, who immediately asked if there were any animal shelters in the next world, and if so, could Brown direct him to one. Brown told him that yes, there are unclaimed animals there, and he would be happy to take Simon to where he could volunteer his assistance in placing them. I'm told that Simon seemed very happy that he could resume his work where he had left off on the earthly plane. Okay, that's all I have for you at the moment. Please come back next week for another roundup of the latest gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. Also, please tell your friends that the report can now be heard on iTunes. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.